Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining in today's session. And once again, welcome you all for the session 4, that is of your MPA module. So before I begin the session, let me ask my learners, how have you all been? We just met day before, and I just want to check the well-being. Thank you, Michael. Michael shows a thumbs up there. And Nikki as well. Oriana, great. It's good. Thomas out there. It's nice. Roman and Peter. All right. So Joseph. Okay, that's Nita there. All right. So that's good to know there. And evening, everyone. That's from Nikki's side of the chat. All right. So today's session, yes, we're going to continue with the review of literature. In fact, this particular session is going to be a hands-on experience. Technically, from your side, the review of literature is going to take place and in-house in class. I'm going to discuss the advantages, limitations, how to go about the review of literature, and also, finally, I want to also see how my learners get a hang of literature review using the search engine. So I'm going to run through today on that aspect. And yesterday and today, I was reviewing this spreadsheet. In fact, quite a few improvements on the rows that were filled. I was pretty looking forward for most of them to fill in. And it so happens that, yes, excluding a few whom I've highlighted again with a color code, the rest of them have made an effort to fill the rows as well. So apart from that, I've included an additional tab in the spreadsheet. So in line with that is what my today's discussion also is going to be. So we will be running through certain aspects and try to understand how and in what way we can have this literature review on a stronger perspective. Because when it comes to word count, barring your introduction, generally I've seen learners, introduction, they somehow collate the information from multiple websites, and also they get first-hand information. So it's easy for them to just collate everything, paraphrase it. That's what they've been doing, most of them. But when it comes to literature review, the analytical element is missing there. So let's work on that today because fair proposal, the word count is limited. But then when it comes to your dissertation, it's going to be pretty exhaustive, which means you should know the skill of analyzing the articles as well to a larger extent, and you need to provide and take citations as well. That's really important. So step by step, I'm going to walk you through in this. And first things first, I also have a quiz brought in there, which is going to be a live quiz. Again, this particular quiz is inclusive of multiple questions on the review of the literature in itself. So we will begin the session with quiz. This is for you to get into the rhythm of literature review. In fact, it's going to be a multiple choice question. And it's lineup of questions with 20 seconds per question that you'll have to spend. And I've created a mastery of 90% where you got to reach there to score at least pass level. But nevertheless, I'm not going to get the points up there, but then, the virtual board is going to enable in some time and you will be able to see the live progress. So as and when you're playing, I can have the live progress update on my screen as well. So with that note, yes, I want my learners to be a little enthusiastic in playing this game. So if you notice, there is a QR code up there. So if you're using your mobile phones, so you could just ensure to click in the QR code there. If not, I'm just going to take a screenshot and post it on the chat box there. So ensure to scan the code. You'll be in a position to reach to one of the main pages of the quiz. And for the others, you can use joining the link. I'm also posting the link on the chat there. So either ways, what you feel is comfortable, please go ahead with that. So there is a link provided. You can use that particular link to launch your quiz. If not, use the QR code to launch the quiz. And should they ask for an ID, you may have to put in this passcode. Okay, so just in case if there is a password asked and an ID, please use 264737. And interestingly, on my screen, I see the learners already there. It's nice. So 9 of them have logged in. I want all the learners to participate. It's going to be fun-loving. So I'm not going to judge you on who scored how much, but it's rather for your learning exposure. So I can see quite a bit of people on the screen. At least I've still not started the quiz, okay? So please ensure to wait. And I see 18 participants now. Great. So please scan the QR code. If not, I have posted a link on the chat box. Use the same. So the number of participants have increased to 19. Have Norman, Mariana, Nikki, Didier, Neetha, Peter, Thafim, while Raham, Michael, we have 2 Michaels, one with the D and the other one, okay, Michael David. And we have Michael J, Thomas, Nadira, Miriam, Sadib, Osama, the someone with, could you please edit your name? Saeed, and here again, I see a number. Please edit your name. Mustafa, okay, 23 there. Nice, good to see you all with different characters there. So 24 out there. So I'm going to begin. Just a minute. I think a few of them joined right. Okay, we'll have them as well on loop. So please use this link. We are going to kickstart the online quiz. So I see 4 to 5 members joining in a few minutes back. So please click on that. And we're just going to kickstart the quiz. And all the best. So every question has a right answer. So which means you need to choose just one answer. So please go ahead and all the very best. So we have 25 participants, and I already see people in the diamond here now. Oh, that's nice. So we've categorized based on your login. And as and when you progress and gain the points, you would be reaching to different tiers. And diamond tier is the epitome. Then we have the gold tier in the 2nd level, 3rd level silver, and 4th bronze and 5th iron. So get your points quick so that you get qualified to the diamond tier. And so far, I see Norman in the 1st place, along with Didier. In fact, we have 5 people with 2,000 points in the diamond tier, so it's going to be a tough call. So Sadid, Norman, Didier, Michael, David, and Raham. So let's see how far it goes. So 20 seconds per question, 1 right answer. For you to qualify, you need to get 90% mastery. And once you finish, you'll reach the peak here. So good luck. Currently, I see Sanad 6,600 points in the first place so far. Didier 6,000 points. So this back to back, they're switching the places between Sanad and Didier. And Michael David with 5,000 points. The theme 4,800. And Noman is reaching with 5,400. And gold here we have Wild, Sadid, Syed, Ajmal, and Nadira. Silver, Mustafa Raham, Mariana. I see one with the name coded there. So the more you answer, you go to the next question and you get the points accumulated. But I also see a couple of you all are trying to reattempt the questions after seeing the answer. In fact, I'll get the report on my screen, so be a little cautious. So you can just attempt it once and then move ahead. Okay, Ume says you're unable to go to the next. Try to log out and log in again on the quiz page. You will be able to move ahead. Sometimes it's the traffic that gets, on the network. Right, I see Didier and Sinav again in the first and second swapping. So in a matter of 2 minutes, I see them just swapping the possession. So far, it's Didier at 11,200 points and Sun at 10,200 and Tafim 9,200. Okay, Nikki's outpowering now. Tafim, Nikki, and Naman. It's going to be a good chase, but I see people still reattempting the questions to get the answer right. It's been a good chase. Manja, are you unable to move? I still see you in the possession at the start. I think the rest of them are progressing. Right now, we have 5 more minutes to go. So please ensure to brace up. So I still see did here and 18,200 points. So Didier Sanav always as a competition swoop there, and Tausif has reached the diamond tier along with Nadira and Nikki. So that's really good. So 19,200, 17,400, 16,000 there. Gold tier, Nikki, Weil, Michael, Naman and Peter. Sabid, I think there's someone with first three alphabets only. Mustafa, Michael, Rihanna. All right. So we still have players there chasing each other. So we have diamond tier people actually nearing the mastery. So others read the question. You just have 20 seconds to answer them. Surprisingly, I see Tausif now chasing the first position. So Didier is already there in the first place, and Tausif is giving a tough there. So Naman, third place, and Sanav, fourth. So you guys are reaching mastery already there. So probably you have a few more questions left to 10 so that you end the game there. So the others, please you give a good chase. In fact, people are, yeah, I have two players completed the game already. One is Tidia there, and the other one is Tausif. So the rest of you all, it doesn't stop you from getting into the first position. Sometimes the quicker you answer, you get the high scores. So in that way, you can chase first two places as well. So people in third position, fourth position, or from fifth position onwards. So just try answering the questions a bit quicker. The quicker you answer, the better you get to the next level. And you score high points as well. So far I see Didier and Thorsif completing the game. Let's see who gets into the race on highest scores. So we have 4 players completing the game, Didier, Thorsif, Numan, and Sanab. But still I see Didier in the first place and Thorsif in the second place. So none of y'all are beat. Oh, Madeira. See, this is where I said the game, the quicker you finish doesn't matter, but how well you gain the points. So Nadira's pushed Didier and Thorsif to second and third place and moved to the first position now. So someone can chase Nadira, probably the first place is yours. So people who still haven't finished still has chance. The quicker you finish the game, the better, because it all depends with the number of seconds you're up to as well. So if a question holds 20 seconds time, if you waste 19 seconds in attempt, you may get a bit lower score. But the quicker you do, let's say 5 seconds, you just crack the question, you can earn better points. So Didier and Thorsif has moved to second and third place, and Nadira has got the first place now. I'm still going to wait for next 2 more minutes. Suppose that I'm going to end the game to see where each player stands. So you just have 60 plus 60 seconds to complete the game. Last 1 minute, hurry up. I'm going to end the game. Once I end the game, you wouldn't be able to proceed. So it pauses the entire game. So you just have lost.
Maria, my game's stuck on a score sheet. I can't get forward.
Oh, all right, all right. So once I refresh, probably we'll be able to get it. Man, who's this?
It's Michael. Thank you.
All right, Michael. Thank you. Thanks for the
Michael
update.
D. Thank you.
All right, great. Got it. All right, I'm going to end the game. So let's see how many of them have completed and who's the winner. So let's find that. And I'm just going to end. So You can relax and get away from the competitive spirit out there. So 18 plays are not done. That's still okay. Yes. Right, here you go. Okay. Nice. Right. So we have 17 players who have attended 90% accuracy. That's good. And average, you people stand out here. Oh, okay. So fastest completion. And there are reattempts as well. Okay, I see a few of them reattempting. Nice. Wonderful. And congratulations to all the winners out there. In fact, a good show per se. So you were all in a better position to at least get to know about what exactly is literature review. You know, to some extent, I see a few of you all have justified the questions there. And how was your experience? I'd set the questions a little simple and moderate, not too critical. I didn't get any advanced level questions, but there were a few wherein I had fit in a few paragraphs for you to analyze and then give the response. But I think a good show there, at least, you know, people have reached the mastery level, which is important. And let's get into the session now. Excuse me. Before I talk about few stuffs, I want to also ensure that in today's session, I'm going to talk about a run through a new proposal. So, which means you need to kickstart working on your Word document. So technically, there's no assignment brief here, but the proposal itself is, replicated as your assignment brief. So we need to create the Word document, and within the Word doc, we have to take the discussion forward. So I'm going to run through what exactly is the word count for each question of the proposal and how you're going to respond and take it forward as well. We'll have the discussion. So moving on to the lit review extension here. The keyword search. Now, in the previous session, I recall explaining about the keyword, right? In fact, you came up with a few reflections of the prototype that I had asked for the keyword search, two columnar form. One side you have synonyms, the other side you have the core terminologies, which I had asked you to bring through. And a few learners actually did a brilliant job. And I could see that you were in a position to redefine the concepts, the core terms, so that your keyword search becomes easy. So why does keyword search come into the picture? Generally in the literature review, if you notice, so when you need to define and redefine an article and see how well it can correlate to your topic, it's highly important that you'll have to do a keyword search in the browsers, especially in different websites. We have this option well inbuilt per se. But you need to know the hack on how can you do the keyword search. I have seen some of my learners, where they literally copy the title of the proposal, paste it on a Google Scholar, or let's say even on the search engine like Google, and ask relevant articles. See, the internet is, quite ambiguous, and it has humongous data. Unless or otherwise you give the right appropriate command, you wouldn't be receiving an appropriate or refinement of article. So it's highly important that a keyword search begins with refinement of code from your end itself. The broader you ask, the broader information you get, which will actually have a loose lit review of literature. So we need to have a narrow down approach, which means we need to know how to go ahead with keyword search. In fact, the keyword search is a foundational technique, I would say, in the academic research in order to find out a relevant literature, especially in multiple databases or search engines or library catalogs. In fact, your login has library catalogs. So the keyword search will involve you in identifying and using key terms as well, which is related to either your title, research questions. So you can locate scholarly sources like your journal article, books, reports using the keyword search as well. So first of all, how to start and how to go about it. We need to break down the research topic and the research question, which was the drill you did in the previous session, if you remember. Now, after you refine, sometimes, we can include key concepts, key variables as well. But after doing that, we have to review. But before reviewing it, we need to see if the refined search has narrowed down the articles. Now, there may be 50,000 articles, which is relevant to your topic. Are you going to review all 50,000? No, it's next to impossible. And we wouldn't ask you to do so as well. So what you need to do is you have to refine your search, which is where the criteria is like articles not older than 5 years comes into the picture as well. And the relevance is important. So there will be certain topics which is going to be broad, and there would be certain topics which can narrow down further as well. So in accordance with that is what we're going to take it forward as well. Now, if you notice here, we have one of the examples. What is the impact of social media on body image among Gen Z? Right? So this is actually a research question. And if I may have to find articles relevant to this research question, so what would be the possible keywords? Your only hack here is to look into this statement, which is a question, basically. What could be the possible keywords? What could be the possible keywords? I'm just going to use the next slide for the notes. Yeah. So what could be the possible keywords from the research question? All right. So the theme says fitness, Gen Z. Yeah. So let's bifurcate. In fact, if you recall again, the core themes, I had asked you to choose three main themes, right? That's what we did in the previous class as well. If you notice, we picked core concepts, three main concepts. So don't forget that, okay? So the concepts should be clear, and then we can pick in related terms as well. So it's highly important that you mimic this format, which is going to be simpler and easier for you rather than struggling with a vague response. So I'm just going to add this table here. To add the max, I'm just going to allow you to pick three concepts, and then we can have synonyms out there. So what three concepts are you going to suggest me for the keyword search? The Gen Z, definitely I'm going to take from Michael's response. So probably I'll have Gen Z there. Great. Thossif says social media. All right. I'm also going to take social media. In fact, if you read the question, the first key hint that I get itself is social media. All right. So I'm going to take social media there. And next, we're going to look into another term. We're just going to help with another term. Yeah, obviously, it's going to be the body image. So I think Michael has got that right. So this is where you need to be a little cautious as well, you know? if you lose your grip on these core concepts, which means your keyword search itself is going to goof up. So be very cautious in choosing this. In fact, these are the terms. I'm just going to highlight here for your reference. Then you do a keyword search, right? You get that. And synonyms. What else I can give the command for the keyword search? For social media, similar terms. What could be the possible similar terms? I just need 3 more subsets of synonyms on the social media. You just got to brainstorm. Social media. What comes to your mind and what could be relevant to this research question? Okay, Michael has come back. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Nikki also includes TikTok. That's correct. So these are pretty famous per se, and they're popular among Gen Z. So Twitter has moved to X, isn't it? So I can include X if I'm not wrong, right? We moved it, probably it's been a year now that Twitter's no more called Twitter. It's moved to X. Okay, so I'm just going to take it X. For those of you all wondering what X is, that's the Twitter, which was renamed. And I think Snapchat, yes, so many. I technically do not have any of these accounts apart from LinkedIn. So YouTube, okay. We still have people on YouTube. Okay, well, limited to these many. Probably I'm just going to limit it to this. Up next, body image. How about the body image? So self-awareness, okay? That's a nicer way of looking into it. Kind of self-esteem. So we could pick on self-esteem, self-perception, something of that sort. So Michael has given me self-awareness. So you can also look into self-esteem or perception. That's the image people get. Anything apart from that? Somatic self-view. All right. But these terms, you have to rethink if researchers would use terms like this. At some point of time, you may have to think from the other perspective as well. No harm in searching it, but then nevertheless, you need to look from that perspective. What Mariana has posted, that somatic self-view, for those of you all wondering what it is, in fact, somatic self-view, we use a term where a particular person perceives or evaluates, similar to what body image is here. Your self-image matters to you, and how a person feels about their own physical reflection of the body or a physical standpoint. It is closely related to the body image. The term somatic emphasizes on the body sensations, rather than just the physical appearance. So, which is why I said, Mariana, sometimes we have to look into it if things divert, because somatic, it talks about the sensations of the body as well. So we shouldn't divert. When you're getting synonyms, it should get into one view out there. So self-view, somatic self-view is still fine, but then the word somatic is what I'm looking into. So yeah, diet, health, exercise, well-being, self-perceived attractiveness. Okay, the perception here, which is why I said esteem/perception. So self-perception, yes, I would agree that. That's good. All right, one more word. I'm just looking into a couple of more words in the body image. Diet, health, people posting on diet and health as well. That's a good point that I can pick into. Diet, health, which can also be mental health. We can connect that way. And uh, people do have self-worth that they look into, well-being. Yes, probably I can take that from Michael's point as well. Okay, so coming on to the next core concept there, Gen Z. What do we get there? Okay, we have youth, of course. Yes. And what else apart from youth? Digital natives. Okay, digital natives. Yeah, probably. I think we've lost the sense of that social contract within the family itself. It's becoming too absurd. So digital natives can be right there. Yes. Can we also include adolescents? Some of the researchers will pick into adolescents as well. So when you search, you should have these as well. And even teens get into this category. And digital natives, that's good. I'm going to add that as well. TikTok generation. Yeah. I don't know that, which is why it doesn't interest me. Social media, I don't know, for some reason it never interests me because there's too much of information which is useless. Information should be useful. It's just okay. Delusional majority. Okay, I don't know if people have used in the research. Probably Peter can get in that. Delusional majority. Okay, so these are the classifications that I've got. Now, how to go about it? So we've got the whole concepts out of the research question, and we've also got the synonyms. How to go about in a search engine. Where do we look for information? Can anyone address that? We've got the keywords, we've got the core concepts, in fact, and the synonyms. So how to go about it? Where do we look for information? What's the next step? And please avoid copying all your title or even the research questions and replicating the same in the search engines. That's one of the incorrect way of doing it, which most of you all, I think, would feel that, okay, this is easy, let's just do it. But the refinement of the literatures is not going to help you anyway in your analysis to a larger extent. Google Scholar, that's correct. Internet, okay. So precaution, Michael has responded to me. So technically what next is we're going to combine the keywords using the Boolean operations. That's really important. In fact, when it comes to search engine, we use the Boolean operation. And I'm going to explain to you what sort of Boolean operations can be used to a larger extent. In fact, these are multiple databases that we have in line with getting the articles. In fact, in my weekly email too, I'm going to give you a lot of database which is going to help you in the business management perspective. In fact, Google Scholar, JSTOR, I would say, yes, of course, you would be getting in a lot of articles. But then I even look on Emerald, Taylor, and Florence's. So they're going to help you to a larger extent. And ProQuest is part of your own learning management system. So you can get it from the ProQuest itself. And yeah, Library of PMU, you have an access to that as well, which is why we say, please activate your ID and the password. The more you use, the more it is better for your research. So try activating it if you haven't accessed the PMU library as yet. If not, you can still use our learning management system, ProQuest, as well. So these three, which I've highlighted, yes, is of good use. Taylor and Francis, I'm going to screen share to you and show there as well, where they have a lot of management-related articles. And you do have Emerald and the publications there as well is good. So once you have narrowed down on the database, you're going to choose the Boolean operators. In fact, this Boolean operator, we use multiple. I'm just going to give you a few, which is going to be useful for you. So what are these Boolean operators? They, in research search, it is a method of combining keywords using a logical operators. The logical operators here, which you can see, is and, or, not. I'm also going to help you with the quotations and parentheses as well, which is not mentioned on your slide in the kit. I'll help you use that as well so that your refinement becomes much more quicker, simpler, and you can narrow down. So this particular Boolean operation, it was named after George Boole. He was actually from the 19th century, a mathematician who developed the Boolean logic. So this is still date being used by most of us for the database search engine. So the first things first is the term and. And if you notice, they're in caps lock. So whenever you try to use Boolean operators, ensure that your caps lock is on, because all the three alphabets in the and should be in capital letter. So how does this work? And what is the functionality of and? Now, and narrows your search and tells the database to retrieve only the results that contains all specified keywords, which means it reduces the number of results by combining the concepts. So if I go to the last previous slide there, we use the word social media. We also have body image. We also have Gen Z. Now, I cannot sit there in front of my system and afford quite a bit of time just on this, searching the articles, right? So, and narrows my search. So when I get into the search aspect, so what and how can I get it better is I'm going to put, first of all, the quotation, because the quotation is going to help me to give a much more better refinement. So the command would be social media from the previous slide. And so I'm going to use body image. And what was the next term? Gen Z, right? I'm going to take Gen Z as well. So sometimes you can also use generation. And if the articles have generation, then it picks those articles. If not Gen Z, it narrows down there. Please ensure when you type, do not give spaces here between the first term and the quotation. Please do not do that. Backspace. So if you notice, I've not provided any space in the quotations, right? I've just provided space after the quotation, typed and then space again, the next. So technically, the Boolean where and comes into the picture is going to retrieve from the database all the specified keywords. And this will help me to reduce the number of results in the combining concepts as well, which means I will get the article, which is inclusive of social media, body image, Gen Z, everything in one lineup. So the more refinement and more combination of results is what I can see. So and allows for combined concepts in the search engine. And the next command is or, right? So what happens in or? Or broadens my search. So in or command, it will actually tell the database to retrieve results containing any of the listed terms, any of the listed terms. So it increases the number of results by including synonyms or related terms. So, or, which is when this column comes into the picture, right? So what I do in an or command, I can literally use this row explicitly for an or command. So I can put body image or self-esteem or self-perception or mental health. So it goes that way. So which means all the article relevant to body image in association with or, the term goes on. So the more number of terms you use, the broader my search is. So it increases the number of results by including synonyms or related items. So how do I technically type here? So let's say I'm going to use body image. So it's going to be body image there. Okay. And then instead of and, my command is going to be or. Again, it's going to be in caps. So here, after body image, self-esteem, self-perception. So I'm just going to substitute all with self-perception. Again, this becomes or. Likewise, whatever you have chosen, mental health. Again, I'm just going to pick mental health. Or if I need to continue, I can still proceed to go ahead with the given command. It could be self-esteem, right? So here, it broadens your search. So when you get into the command or, it should be in the same line category. Your core concepts and the synonyms should fall in the same category. So it helps me to include synonyms to say, hey, buddy, please find the related terms for my article, which talks about body image, and likewise in line with these terminologies as well. A third command, it has not. So what is not? Sometimes and not, we can invariably use those as well. So not tells the database to leave out results containing a certain word. So it's actually useful for removing irrelevant results. So this, especially if you see, it finds results about, let's say, social media and body image, but it excludes anything about advertisement. So advertising, something of that sort. Here as well, if you look at the information, it says apple, not fruit, which means if my research is centric to the brand called Apple, which means I do not want articles which talks about apple as a fruit. So I can't keep refining or reading the lines. Rather, I can give the command to say apple, not fruit. So when I say apple, not fruit, the articles will be relevant to the brand called Apple only and not the fruit. So a command goes that way. So use quotation for the exact phrases. That's important. So the more you put into the quotation, it only reads that particular term the way you have typed it, and it's going to refine the search. Now, when you have Generation Z, it's going to pick only Generation Z. When you have Gen Z, it's going to pick only Gen Z, right? So you need to use them in that way. So quotation mark highlights for the exact phrase. It gets into that variation. And sometimes we also have the parenthesis. You know, the parenthesis would look like brackets, right? So if you have a command, I would probably put a parenthesis here. So these brackets, they will give me the variations within this family only. So these are helped to group the terms logically. So the parenthesis is going to say within this family only, you're going to give me the information. So you can have variations outside of this, and you need to look into a lot more information with the articles which talks about body image, self-perception, mental health, or self-esteem. Again, within this family is going to simplify me a lot of information. So using the Boolean in the right way is going to help to a larger extent to get the refinement of your search as well. So Google Scholar, I'm just going to post the link for you in the chat box. And I need someone to do the live demonstration. I just want to see if you're typing it right there. So the link which I've posted technically is going to take you to this page. All right. And always have articles. By default, it'll be articles highlighted, and you can have it there. So your search should begin here. The moment you search, it redefines to the next page. It technically redefines to the next page. Let me say, for example, excuse me. Or I'll put STG, okay. All right. So if you notice, I have used quotation in the first place and as a Boolean parenthesis as well. So the search engine results, if you notice the articles that I'm getting, the first one talks about climate justice from the lens of sustainable development. Now, and Boolean gives me an interconnection between SDG and climate justice in the first place. Also, I have added the parenthesis there, which means these brackets are going to tell that check the relevance of the article which has both of these depicted. All right. So when I delete these, then the variation of the results, if you see, yeah. So variations of the results, the more and more it filters, you will find the split. If you notice, this article does not have SDG or sustainability, but still it appears because I've used quotation, and command is just for the interconnectedness there. But the more I put parentheses, it's going to refine and give me the article, which has a combination of both. Right? See, in this article, I see climate justice, sustainable development. In this, I see SDG, climate justice. In this, I see climate justice, SDG. So you see the beauty of having the parenthesis. It does not only merge both, but it depicts the refinement of the search, merging both in one article. So in that particular article, I can find both of these. But when I remove this, it's just going to simplify. Since I have and as a command, to a larger extent, or to the extent of the article, I may get accumulation of these two. But since I've included again the quotation, I may also get certain articles which has just STG, which means standalone only on STG, and standalone only on climate justice. So that's how some of the refinements, if you see, as you go, because you don't stop in just 4 or 5 articles, right? See, in this second page itself, it depicts only climate justice. Although I get into and, but had I put parenthesis, it would have refined and given me the cumulation of both. Now, it gives me a standalone SDG, standalone climate justice, the combination of both SDG and climate justice as well. So the search history gets more broader on this aspect. Okay, so it appears that way, and I can refine here. You know, I have highlighted since 2025. So previously, if you notice, it had 5,000, I think 5,500 odd articles. Yeah, so somewhat this was a number of articles. That's still huge for me. And if I just click since 2025, it's going to be just latest. You see, the topic is so much looked into. 772 is the result, just 2025. So you can put it in custom range as well. And from 2020, if I search, it's just going to give me the articles from 20 to 25. And you can sort by relevance. You can get into the review type, what sort of article you need. Yeah. Yes, Richard. All right. I assume it's by oversight. I'm just putting you on mute. All right. Okay. So you also have an option of create alerts. You know, you can give the command and click on create alert. It's literally going to take you to your email ID. So whatever ID you've logged in, it will include the alert wherein you'll receive an email every time there is an inclusion of the article on the Google Scholar. So you can change the IDs as well. If not, you can just refine and search as and when you like. So I want a couple of learners. Okay, on social media and body image. Yeah, very good. I'd asked someone to do it. Michael has done that. Very good, Michael. So can someone probably screen share or do it independently and provide the screenshot like Michael on your topic? I wanted to do it on your topic. Get the relevance on your topic. On your topic. So something on your particular topic is what I'm looking onto. Any Boolean you can do, and or not. Anything relevant to your study. All the more you have filled the tracker, so you can pick it up from there. Anything relevant to your study. Right? I have a couple of them there. Hamdi. Human capital and employee. All right, employees. Please do not put the plural form out there. Okay, so just remove the code there. Human capital and personal life is fine. I have Nikki. Leadership and digital transformation and strategy. execution, and all right. Okay. So sometimes, you can club. Yeah, I want to say that as well. You can also club here an inclusion, climate justice. So technically, the quotation can have a bunch of synonyms as well together. Climate justice, net zero, carbon neutrality. I can have multiple terms within this, within one quotation as well. So that will group into similar content. So this will give you a lot of narrow down terminologies as well. So you get that on a better aspect. All right. So how many of you all have done the field? Adapt to organization culture and transformational leadership. People are trying with just and. A lot of y'all are just giving me the combination of and. Any other combination? I can only see and. Any other combination you can get into? So you also have, can you try on Taylor and Francis? This is an open access journal link that I'm going to provide you. Taylor and Francis, in fact, have publications on this. It's a good journal there. So when you get on that link, the landing page is here. It's an open access journal. And if you have DOI or the author's name, and apart from the keyword as well, you can get the search here. See, now I just put a plain term. So it's going to show me multiple articles. In fact, this is an open access journal link. You will be able to look into a full text, and also you'll be able to download as well. If you really wish to publish, you can utilize them. A reputed journal. So you can get into the keyword search like we discussed. So there's a full article which I can view in the form of PDF. Yeah. So it's visible. So these will actually help you. Please mute your microphone. So this is going to help you to analyze as part of your literature review as well. See, technically I get the entire article downloaded. So even on Google Scholar, you'll be able to find open access journals. So you download and you can just save it. So here as well, on the right-hand side, whatever you find is PDF. It gives you a full view. So it has Springer's article, ResearchGate, Science Direct. So you can value as well. So it's pretty reputed journal there. So all these PDF codes are technically downloadable on Google Scholar. So my recommendation would be Google Scholar and Taylor and Francis. I'll give you a few more websites, but sometimes, like Emerald and all, you wouldn't be able to, even Springer for that matter, you'd be able to download. Some are paid and you wouldn't have an open access. So see if it's open access and then you should be able to crack them. So Colin, can we use something like IBM SPSS? That's going to be a software for you to, I don't think if you'd be in a position to get into literature there. You're talking about the SPSS where it uses a statistical analysis. So it's a component of analysis, technically for your respondents and your review on your data collected IBM SPSS is absolutely fine. So you're talking about your analysis front, then yes. But in lit review, to the larger extent, I would say that wouldn't be an advisable stand. In what way? If you're defining IBM SPSS, so it's actually a statistical software which you're trying to get into the analysis front. Okay. And Michael, can you use and, or, and not in the same Boolean character? Yes, it's possible. Yeah, as long as you give the command appropriately, yes. If not, it's just going to confuse. It's a bot, right? So it's just going to confuse it. So as long as your command is appropriate and you need the search in accordance with it, then it's possible. I can choose some article pertaining to Apple, or I can choose some article that is pertaining to, again, sustainability itself. I may not need something on sustainable finance, right? So I can say sustainable operations, not sustainable finance. So something on that front, I can try to give it as a combination and take it forward as well. So you can use all of the Boolean operators in the same search engine. Yes, possible. All right. So we'll take a 15 minutes break and I'm going to continue with the lecture. And furthermore, I'll be asking you all to work on some of the reviews pertaining to your study itself. In fact, I've given a prototype on how you can do a lit review using a columnar form for your proposal. So I'll be projecting that. And Thomas, obstacle, SME, or finance regulation. And okay, so be a little cautious when you use the caps. Finance regulation and operations. See, you haven't caps lock on obstacle SEME operations, and then the rest in small letters. So be a little cautious on the command. Otherwise, it's fine. All right. So we'll meet after 15 minutes. I'll be continuing with some more analysis portion and Harvard referencing style as well, which is one of the major criteria for your research proposal and the dissertation as well. So when you're doing literature review, citation plays a very important role. So I'm going to teach you on HRS, how to land there, how to do it, and including your Word document. It becomes very easy to do that in your Word doc. So I'll just walk you through those as well. So we'll meet after 15 minutes. So take a break and we'll get All right, I'm continuing the session. Hope you're all glued to the laptop. So the next concept, which I'm going to explain to you all, is about the Harvard referencing style. In fact, you would have been practicing this as part of your assignments prior to your dissertation stage, like your research stage. Um, every part of your assignment would have been inclusive of references, and Harvard referencing would have been part of it as well. So, just an add on before I give further information. How many of y'all are not familiar with the Harvard referencing style using in the Word doc? I know you people use multiple websites and probably MyBib, which helps you to auto-generate the referencing style, including the citation and the references. So how many of y'all are not familiar using it in the Word doc, Microsoft Word document? Have you made an attempt to use it in the Word document? Or it's been an independent study? So through multiple websites, you get auto-generated. Anyone who's tried in the Word document? Michael? All right. So only Michael has tried on the Word doc. I don't see any other. Okay. So first, let me explain to you what this is all about. And I'm going to run through um, the Word document, which is much more simpler and ethical way of doing the citation and the references to your work as well, because this being the research component in multiple intervals across the chapters, you'll be using the citations, which plays a very important role. So first of all, let's try and understand the history of Harvard referencing style. In fact, it originated late in the 19th century at the Harvard University in the United States, and it was first described in a paper by a biology professor at the Harvard called Edward Lawrence. So he was one who suggested a much more simple way to cite the sources directly in the text by the author and the date instead of the footnote and the endnotes, which were the practice. Even now, we use footnotes and endnotes, at least for a few sources of publication. If you see newspaper articles, which I've generally published into, they will ask us for the footnotes and the end notes as well, and doesn't fall in the purview of such referencing when it comes to newspaper articles or reports, which gets documented as well. So the system was evolved, and then the citation style was rephrased over a period of time, with author's surname and the year of publication rather than just the date there. And you can see the full references in the closure section, which technically is a bibliography component as well. So over a period of time, we've been using it and started in the 19th century. So technically, the Harvard referencing style has two components highlighted here. So one is the in-text citation, and the other component is the reference in itself. Now, what is in-text citation? Now, when you look into the body of the content, the component, which is actually the trunk of your entire composition of either assignment or proposal or your dissertation. So every content needs to have a component of in-text citation where it takes a replication of the lines from some other source. So an in-text citation generally includes a direct quote, and also it includes the author's surname and the year of publication, and the full reference of the same would be found towards the closure. Now, why am I doing the in-text citation? It's in fact a much more crisp way of depicting that This particular source I have extracted from a particular writer or a particular published article with the writer's compliment to say that, hey, listen, although I have reflected, I'm still giving credit to that particular author in the publication, and there is no source of plagiarism in picture. So in-text citation is going to be the much more crisp form, like you can see in the slide here. Now, this particular statement comes within the quotation mark and also gives the in-text citation of the author and the year in which it was published as well. And the elongated version is seen in the references list towards the closure, which contains the complete information of the article, the place in which it was published, and which year it was published and who the author was. So predominantly, you're going to look at an elongated version in the reference and a crux of in-text citation, which gives you an overview of giving the credit to that particular author for his piece of work. So it's highly important that you need to provide citations, especially when it comes to review of literature. Humongous statements and information is taken from the other sources, which means it's not your own work, which means you are indebted to give credit to the author. Now, some of you all may debate, I'm just going to paraphrase it. How does it matter? You're still paraphrasing the original author's work. It's not something out of your own knowledge or new idea of component that you are bringing in on the table. So it's highly important that although you paraphrase, you need to give credit to the author. So in a systematic way, you have to acknowledge the source of information, be it ideas, data, or the codes you use in your academic work. And this particular citation is important because, first of all, it avoids plagiarism. So giving proper credit to original authors and sources will help you to avoid plagiarism. So presenting someone's work and their ideas as your own is incorrect. That will lead to academic misconduct. So to ensure academic honesty and integrity, you have to come up with the citation. And apart from that, every reader is going to verify source. So if you provide the detail of the references, as a reader, a third party can track down the original source to check the accuracy or the context to read further as well. So this will strengthen the credibility of your work. Generally, you see, even on Google Scholars, it will give you a reflection on how many you cited those articles as well. So the number of citations, the more it is cited, and it'll give you a lot of information on the credibility of those many articles. See, technically, I'll just show to you. Yeah, so this is again a reflection of Google Scholar. If you notice, cited by 1, cited by 64. So the related articles will take citations, which means from this work, you have 12 more people who are taking this article as a reference of your work. So they will also come up with quoting your article in their work as citation. So it's highly important for you to cite the work which you have taken as well, because someone else, let's say, for example, Michael cites Cass's articles in his work. And if I'm doing a research on Cass's work, so that'll interest me to read further, I'm going to check at the reference, and then I'm going to come back, and in my work, I'm going to give the same credit of that particular author. So it's highly important. See citations here, look on all front, you get the number of citations, which is, again, really important activity that you need to do as a piece of work. So No, no, Michael. I have a question here. In-text citation be in italics? No, that's not how we do it, but I'm going to reflect to you. So it has to be in normal font and not even bold, no italics. So it can be in a normal font, just like any of your reflection of the work. So again, why it is important? So um, I'm going to avoid plagiarism technically, and also I will allow the reader to verify the source and the accuracy and the credibility. And also, I can support my argument. You know, in most of the cases, when you provide citations, you can also support your reference, your idea, your argument to say that this is an authoritative source which shows that your work is backed by existing research and evidence. So it adds weight and credibility to your argument and conclusions as well. So organizing your work is pretty important because the referencing style will ensure that your citations are clearly organized as well. So, which is why when you look at the references, I suggest the learners to keep it in the alphabetical order. You know, when you create them in alphabetical order, it gives you a reflection from A to Z. So again, it is quite systematic. And also, you need to enhance the academic communication. For scholars, globally present, the Harvard referencing will create a common language for communication as well. So, as a researcher, the moment I look at some citations, I'll be able to find out if it's hand typed or just foolproofed, or literally the person has cited it in accordance with the Harvard referencing style. So, scholars globally, for them, it's easy to recognize. So you have to maintain clarity and professionalism in your academic writing. It's really important. Just for the heck of citation, please do not hand type it, which I see some of the learners doing in the assignments, because I also had the quality department. I randomly check the assignments during auditing. And sometimes it so happens that you just hand type the author name and the year, making it look like, okay, I've done with in-text citation. It is incorrect. And to a larger extent, the in-text citation will help us to keep our work organized and demonstrate the research quality as well. So, excuse me, it's highly important that you need to get into a particular aspect of in-text citation. In fact, you will have an attachment in the module kit on how to write a postgraduate assignment. So there is one component here which gives an understanding on in-text citation, Harvard referencing style. It's actually part of the third component in the table of contents. So if you go through it, you'll understand how references list are reflected as well. This is actually part of your module kit as well. So it's important that you bring in the information correct. So in-text citation is highly important. So it's inserted in the body of your text, and the word counts as well. It tries to reflect on those. So having an author name and year in which it is published is important. If you're using direct quotations, or if you paraphrase a specific section in the source, you also need the page numbers sometimes to make it available, but we do not insist on those quite critically in your nature of work at master level. And the full references, again, please ensure it is in the alphabetical order at the end of the work, and we do not include that as a part of the word count. So do not think that, okay, these many information on the references is going to pick up on my word count. No, we refrain and do not add the references as part of your Turnitin check. So your table of contents does not appear in Turnitin. The index does not appear, excuse me, in the Turnitin. And finally, your references is out of the Turnitin. So your word count should be around 10,000 words in your complete dissertation, barring the references and the index. So the theme, according to Fitzgerald, After that, I lived. Is that yes? That's correct as well. So some of you may find the comma between the author and the year. That is also correct. And the one that's quoted by the theme, where, yeah, this can also be part of Ovid. Okay, so we use both the forms in Ovid, and both are correct. Okay, so I'm just gonna get on a Word document for you to show and how the depiction of this takes place. All right. So this is a Word doc. I'm just going to pick the similar content that we did in that previous session. And also I have reflected on a lit review for one of the learners' topics, social media food trends and the effect on new direct choices in Russell climate. I'm going to get back on that front. I've just added some of the literature to it. I'll get back there, but meanwhile, all right. So this is what the theme had mentioned for Harvard referencing, right? So that's what he was trying to project. That is also correct and appropriate. And the comma here as well is appropriate. Now let's assume, I'm just going to pick a paragraph here. All right. So this particular paragraph, probably here, I'm going to give credit to the author here. So first things first, I'm using the Word document to run this drill for you because some of you all use different websites to get in this, and then you try to copy in there, paste it in your document. So the primitive content of your proposal or your dissertation is going to be the Word document. So this is where your blueprint starts. So it's highly important and easy to work on your time constraints as well, because the dissertation has a timeline. In fact, the entire run through from now on is based on the timeline. So how do you go about it? So first things first, assuming that this particular piece of information is extracted from someone else's work. So what am I going to do in the first place? I'm getting the cursor to the content to be cited, and then you have your ribbon out here. So click on references, and it would be APA, but by default, you'll have to change it to Ovid so that it turns out to be Ovid. Insert citation. So step 1, go to the references in the ribbon. Step 2, change the style to Harvard. Step 3, insert citation, add new source. Now you may have multiple sources in line with the references that you need to get into the work. So when you click on the type of source drop down, you get multiple options. If you do not find any of the option of your source, just put it as miscellaneous. But most of the things are covered here. And if it's a journal article, I'm just going to click and show them on journal. Author, probably I'm just going to take the first chat there, the recent one. Okay, that's the theme. So the theme's got 2 names there. So I can add edit, excuse me. And the theme's got 2 names here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the first name as the female and the second name, which I'm assuming surname, has Khan in the last name. So I'm going to click OK. And in Ovid referencing style, always your surname or the last name appears to be the first. So it's not the first name. So be very careful when you're trying to mimic to put in some information there. So this is how the surname appears, and your last name is prioritized here. And title, probably I would put as just giving a illustrative outlook there. Okay, so the moment you click OK, it appears right here, Khan. So it's always your surname there. So my task becomes very easy when I use the word document using this drill. The reason is now, as and when I accumulate the information, let's say this is going to be my last concluding page in the proposal or dissertation. Let's say that the space is the last ending page. So what happens is it becomes very easy for me to get my reference out there right in the Harvard referencing style. So the more I accumulate the citation, it becomes very easy for me to depict in the last page in the alphabetical order without even spending in a lot of time on this. So every time you give a command, it keeps saving in the memory of the Word document. And what I have to do is, towards the closure, just add the references out there so that everything accumulates and shoots out together. So that's where it stands, and that's where it has to be. So the more you use Word document is a better way where you can get into the information as well. Another example probably I could give, I'll just delete this. Okay. I'm going to take the second last chat there. That's Michael's name that appears on my screen. So bringing in the drill again. So references, style, since I changed it, appears Harvard. Insert, see, the previous command appears here. So I'm going to add new source. This time rather I say book, author. Now Michael has 3 names. David goes in as middle name and Morgan fixing up as a last name. You can add multiple authors as well, just in case if I have multiple authors. Since I clicked add, Michael's name is pushed here, right? So then if I just bring in another one and then I say add, can you see there's a lineup? So if you have multiple authors, you can do it that way. If not, just go ahead with one author. So like I said, surname or the last name picks in first in Harvard. So Morgan goes there and it's pushed Michael and David to the next sequence. So the title of the book is Fundamentals of Research. Let's say it was published in the year 2022. Okay. So Morgan, 2022. So it appears this way. And my work becomes again pretty easy. I just need to go to the bibliography, references. So alphabetically, I get the names without even taking much effort. So Khan and Morgan. So I've just inputted it now. So technically, this is one of the ethical way of getting in your references into the picture as well for your work. So from next time, please ensure that you start using the Word document to get into referencing. So can I have anyone do the demonstration in your screen? Can anyone try this? Should you require, I can give you the steps verbally and you can try it on your screen. Any volunteer? Please ensure the tabs, if you have multiple tabs, ensure to just close them and then you can share your screen. Any volunteer? If you're sharing screen, I'll give you the access as presenter. Any volunteer who would like to demonstrate? If not, I'm going to randomly pick a name. Yes? Dr. Manso? Someone should be there. All of you have Microsoft Office, so Word document should be there. If not, I'm just going to randomly pick a name. Yes? No volunteers? All right, Michael, would you like to try? If you're logged in through a system, either a laptop or your PC? Are you there?
Maria, quickly, I'm on a cell phone at the moment.
Oh, cell phone. All right. I guessed because some of the learners just logged in. I mean, while I was admitting them, I could make out they've logged in using cell phone. Anyone else there with a PC out there or laptop? It's easy. Come on. I'm just going to give you instructions. It's not too hard. Yeah? Anyone out there? Okay, Sama is using mobile. Why is it so hard for you people to just run a troll?
All right, I've switched over to laptop.
Oh, that's great. Thank you so much. At least I have a volunteer who's making an effort, although you logged in
Fine.
using the phone,
It's fine.
right?
Let's try. Okay.
Okay.
I'm all yours.
So ensure that if you have any tabs open, please close it because this will
It's,
be on record, which means literally you're sharing your screen. I'll
it's
make
fine.
you the, yeah, I'll just make you the presenter. Just give me a second. So, fine. You're a presenter now, so you'll be able to access all the functions like I do.
Okay.
You can share the screen.
It's just a basic Word document or open page
Yeah,
at least.
that's correct. This will suffice, but can you have something written or a text?
Okay, let me get something quickly. I'm just going to stop sharing.
All right, here. Or I can post it on the chat. Yeah, I can just post it on the chat for you. Probably if you could copy paste that, or if you have anything
Can I
handy,
use
well and good.
the research proposal form as an example?
Right, yeah, makes sense. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm sharing.
Okay. All right. Could you increase the screen size towards
Oh,
the right-hand side? You have, yeah, just zoom in.
oh,
All right, great. Perfect. Yes. So you can choose any of the sentence or statement.
all right, let's do this one.
Yeah. All right. So please get the cursor there
Oh, there you
of the
go.
research. Yeah. Space. Perfect. So get on the ribbon called reference. Step 1. Yeah, it's Harvard there. Good. Insert citation. Perfect. Add new source. Wonderful. Okay. Do you need a book section, or let's try article, journal article? Yeah, perfect. You can add your name. Can you go for an edit? Because,
Yeah, sure.
yeah, yeah. Do you watch much on Intelligence Bureau or some of the thriller-based episodes like Chicago PD, NYPD? I thought literally we're typing some name. Okay. All right. Good. Hmm.
And you want to show
No.
all the bibliography?
No. I mean, generally we avoid that, but if you
Okay.
really wish to, can you click on that, please?
Yes.
Yeah. So the learners were viewing Michael's screen. So just in case you have sufficient information, because these are the mandatory fields which we need to fill in. So generally, when you edit on in-text citation, only the mandatory fields appear. But furthermore, you can, if you look at the date, month, so these are the fields which is not mandatory, but just in case you have sufficient information pertaining to the article, you go ahead, fill in all these, and your access, month access, if you notice, this is also applicable for the websites. Some of you may bring in introduction, where you may just copy paste the information pertaining to a company or something. So if you just need to add much more information, you're free to do it. So that is all the bibliography field out there. If not, only the mandatory fields will hold good. Okay, so yes, I think Michael has added the day and month. So yes, it appears Joe 2025.
Do you want
Yes.
me just to put in the bibliography as well, the reference?
Okay.
Uh,
So probably you can just click and enter so that we get a space between.
yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. So we get back to bibliography, drop down, references, the second section. All right. Perfect. So thank you. I think that's a wonderful drill. And he volunteered, and despite that, he made an effort to picking up, logging in. Thank you so much for that, Michael. Thank you. Yes, you can stop sharing. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Dan.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you for volunteering. So generally we say John Doe, Jane Doe. Well, you get into this crime investigation episodes. So it's just I was fascinated looking at the name there. I thought that it's going to give me some name, different name. It appeared there, but thank you. Thank you. Wonderful effort. So where are you from, Michael? Which place are you from?
I'm South African, but I work overseas.
Ah, all right. Okay,
I
great.
go to all the honeymoon hotspots, Afghanistan, Iraq, all those type of places.
Right, no wonder. Right, so great. Thank you. Thank you for that. And so now I just want you to get into a quick drill again, which you people would have to look into. So the tab on the MPM, which technically I have reflected. I'm just going to screen share. Okay. So first tab is inclusive of all your tentative title and the other details have been filled. Now, second tab, if you notice, when you're doing a literature review, my recommendation to you is you need to pick up this format. So technically, when you're doing a literature review, now you know how to get into the search engine, usable operators, how to do an in-text citation and references in Harvard style. But when you get into a technical aspect of lit review, you may have to project the information in a tabular form for your proposal, because your proposal is inclusive of limited word count. So you cannot have a very exhaustive citation there. So we crunched the information this way. In fact, this is added to the second tab. So the in-text citation, research question, or the rationale from that particular work. So these are all going to be piece of work which you produce. All right. So the more you go, the more piece of work you produce, and then you take it forward. So technically, you just drop down and drag there. And in-text citation, like what is reflected now, the author and the year is important. So Article 1, when you get to review, you need to add the in-text citation, which is the author and the year. From that particular article, should you have any rational or research question identified, record that here. Theoretical framework. What framework have they used? Positivism, interpretivism. In fact, the next learning outcome is completely going to be on the methodology there. So if you've identified, well and good, record these two columns. The methodology, again, quantitative, qualitative study. So what is that they have used? Mono method, mixed method, and major findings of that study. Record that as well. And what is the gap identified? Every article will have a gap. So you may have to work on that. And the limitations of the research will be mentioned in the article. So please get that. Mostly peer-reviewed journals are appreciated. And what are the themes that emerge? Now, like you did the drill on social media, Gen Z, body image, so you may have themes emerge pertaining to that article. So try and get in that into their picture as well. And very important, the title of the study. You may have to bring that into the picture as well. So the title of that particular article. So that will simplify the entire work for you, and you may not necessarily get too theoretical, because in the dissertation you're technically going to run the show, but as part of your proposal, this will be the structure which you'll maintain for the literature review, because the more you condense is better. And this outline is going to give you a blueprint in the proposal to get into a very exhaustive work as part of your dissertation as well. So here, I picked in an example of one of the learner here. I don't remember. Oh yeah, it's Prakash Badushan. So Prakash's work is what I've taken in. I, in fact, rephrased his title. So this is what was suggested. Is Prakash in today's class there? Are there Prakash? All right, nevertheless. So I randomly picked a title. So I just picked Prakash's title. He had mentioned the influence of social media, food influences on youth eating habits in Ras Al Khaimah. It's one of the Emirates out here in UAE. So I just rephrased and put across as title, Social Media Food Trends and Their Effect on New Dietary Choices in Ras Al Khaimah. So what I did is, once I picked his topic, I started looking into multiple articles using Google Scholar. And the end result, what I got is reflected here. So this is a topic. In fact, this is going to be the depiction of the work in the dissertation. All right. So how are you going to frame or structure your literature? So I've taken 6 recent studies. Again, it's peer reviewed articles. So the summary of the key findings is what I've put here. So it's cross-sectional Gulf region survey. In fact, some of the articles, I was fortunate I got it from the Gulf region itself. So his study is on UAE, and I got some theoretical concepts here, which is in line with his study. Excuse me, through those 6 articles. So I've given quantitative evidences, and there are qualitative study as well, which means we have both studies undertaken. And since it includes youth, there are university students part of the study. Excuse me. Sorry, I've got bad cold. I'm trying to get my best to get this away, but it's not happening. So I keep coughing time and again. Apologies. All right. So exposure, measurement of the study as well. And outcome of the measurement, food frequency questionnaire. So technically it's a quantitative data collection that stands on the higher end. In fact, from that write-up is what I showed you the drill for citation. So this is a quick run through on the analysis, which can be part of your dissertation. And I'm going to show you how a literature review needs to look in your proposal. So there's going to be a prototype of proposal out there. Okay. So I'll explain to you how to go about your proposal-based work. In the first place, like any other assignment in your part A, you have a cover page. This is actually the depiction of your assignment brief. So the cover sheet definitely needs certain information because these go to the university. So please be a bit cautious. The name, ID, email ID, the date in which your assignment is submitted has to be filled. This is a mandatory field. Please do not eliminate it or wait for the assessor to give you a revert or a redo, because every detail is important because your work is getting to the university at this stage. So once the mandatory field is filled, the rest remains the same. I'm just showing you the prototype on how the work can be depicted. Now, this is actually the title of the study of one of the learners, not from your cohort. So exploring quantitative AI algorithms for traders and stock trading within UAE. So what this learner has done is started with an introduction, background of the study, and the context. So there are too many information. I'm going to tell you do's and don'ts. So introduction and the background of the study are 2 different things. And the context is totally different. So don't clutter with too many information. Should you require a background study, you can go ahead with it. If not, just start with introduction. Give an introduction on what your study is all about, which is really important. In fact, that is how the assignment brief is structured as well. So if you notice, I'm parallelly going to reflect the proposal brief for you. Yeah. So this particular brief is giving you an idea on the structure of the proposal. So the maximum word count is 2,500. Again, you may think, okay, what could be the minimum? For your information, it's just plus or minus 10% that you can play around within the purview of word count, right? So we're just looking at plus or minus 10% as the word count. So do not get me a 1,000, 1,500, or 1,000 word assignment and say that, oh, I don't see a minimum. And this is my assignment. So your proposal should at least reach 2,500 words, excluding your references, excluding your table of contents. Now, what happens here? The first things first, we're looking at the topic, the title. In fact, the outline in the spreadsheet has sufficient information. Now, your task is to start structuring. So what I'll be doing is probably by Monday, after my weekly email, I'm going to take a final check on your contents in that particular sheet. So a spreadsheet, those of you who have not filled, please do fill it. Some of y'all have done a decent job. Couple of them are exceptional. I'm going to color code everything and mention in a corner what the color codes reflect as well. So please take it forward accordingly and start structuring your proposal in the Word document. So you begin with the title, which you already have on the spreadsheet there. And secondly, what you need to do is, so forget about all these instructions. You people have done that already there. I'm going to rework on 50% of the title at least. And these are the guidelines given, which is independent variable, which I've explained to you already. For time being, refrain on these factors. I just want you to focus on the topic here. So technically, your project title should be ready. And after that, what you need to do is you need to get into. So the instructions there, what you can focus on is the geography is important and what sector you're looking into. So here it says bank, and then you're looking into action words. All right. So these are the main things which you need to look into: the geography, sector, your action words, which leads to the component of the title. And in fact, these terms are going to give you an outline on independent and dependent variables, right? So that will suffice for your title. And introduction, this is where you're going to give the overview of your work. Your introduction is inclusive of 1,000 words, which means it carries 30 marks, which means you need to literally give an outline of your study. So how do you introduce your topic? That's much important on this 30 marker as well. So you cannot just give in a vague content here because it's your proposal. This is what you're going to propose to the panelists in your presentation as well. And this is going to be the blueprint for your dissertation. So work it out well. Once you submit in your LMS, there's no going back. You cannot rework on the title or delete the content or request for a title change as well. So every step you do it cautiously. So introduction is setting a stage for your research. So this is where you can see the reader that your topic matters and it is worth studying as well. So what to include here? First of all, an opening context is important. Then your opening context is depicted. It has to be from a broad to narrow perspective. In research, it's really important. The more narrow you get, the more refined your work is, is the better, which we say excellent. So your opening context should be from broad to narrow. You have 1,000 words, keep that in mind. To start with a wider ground of your research area. It could be the global trend in that particular field, or it could talk about the current developments or challenges in your domain. Narrow down from there on to specific industry you are targeting. That is really important. Again, when you're talking about industry, you need to focus on industry, which means you're describing the size, scope, the growth rate, and the challenges in that particular industry. So if you're focusing on a specific company at this point of stage, the other day, one of the learner was asking, can I include this particular company? Unless or otherwise you have an ethical clearance, please refrain from adding the company name so we can actually put it on anonymous basis. So research, we don't want any of the researcher to get into the trouble and collect the data from a particular company or respondents, and then you say that my organization really did not like it. So it's okay. You collect the data from the respondents as long as the respondents feel that on an anonymity basis, it's okay to give the responses. But then when it comes to company, let's keep it again anonymous. That's absolutely fine. We can just get the reflection around the sector and the region as well on that specific company. So give the brief history, operations, market share, position in the industry about that particular company if you're picking in, or you can just stick to the industry. And then you can talk about the problem statement. In fact, your introduction should cover the problem statement, which is prevalent in your topic. So clearly identify the issues or problems your research addresses. Show evidence, use reports or statistics slightly to show a real-time information. What exactly is a significant problem? Now, some of y'all may make a statement as well, let's say despite 20% increase in social media spending, XYZ companies' online engagement rates have fallen by 10% in the past year. And which is why I need to do a study and provide suggestion to this XYZ company, something of that sort. It could be industry specific. You can bring in what the problem is, what the issue is, and also bring in the rationale in the introduction. Why do you feel the topic is so important? Justify why the topic is worth researching academically and practically. So you need to show a real world relevance. How will this study help the company or an industry or a particular field of study? So show your research relevance. How will it contribute to the academic understanding? And also include the aim of the study. That's important. Aim, objectives, questions. Again, do not go anywhere searching for this. You have done this already in your tab out there. So spreadsheet has this information. Just going to get that information out here, and you're going to fill the aim, which is going to be the broad statement of the overall purpose of your study, objectives. So by and large, have just 3 objectives: specific, measurable, how you can achieve that aim. 3, not more than 3 for information. And then research questions correlating to the objective. You can have 3 questions, if not stick to 2, but 1 is not accepted. So please try and have 3 questions which can correlate to objectives. If not, 2 is well and good. Then you got to move to the literature review section. So for each of things, there is a breakdown on the word count. It's depicted here. And The blue component is just instructions for you. The black component is what you need to do. So do not get confused with the blue component. The text in the black is part of your assignment brief. So soon after your title, you jump to introduction, 30 marks, 1,000 words, aim, objectives, research question, problem statement is important, and give an introduction on the relevance of your topic. And then you switch to your literature review, which is part of our previous session and today's session. So what you need to do is you have to get into the lit review with, again, 1,000 words, but has a weight of 40 marks here. So show to an assessor or your supervisor how you have read and understood the existing knowledge in your topic area. And you'll have to highlight where your research fits into this work. So the structure here is being given on search strategy. In fact, you can just copy this and paste it in your Word document and substitute these for your work. So themes or questions that you have found in the study, what are the keywords? What databases did you look into for the thematic concept or discussion? What is the type of article you've taken, whether it's a journal, book, and language, period, within which your search was included, and what field does it belong to? Mostly it'll be business management or management, so you can look into that. So have one table for search strategy. In fact, the second tab I have given clubs both. So you have a liberty to choose the first table for the search strategy. And next, you move on to the summary table, which technically talks about what particular category of article did you choose. So for this, please choose the table given in the second tab in the spreadsheet, because here we just have citation, title, aim, key findings, methodology. But beyond that, there are some more things to add. So please take it from the tab, and then you can replicate in this format the literature summary. And in fact, you can close it with the potential gap. So you can conclude to say, because of these gaps on the above literatures that I've reviewed, I'd like to come up stating that my research is going to help in fulfilling that particular gap. So your research is going to aid to fulfill that particular gap. So by and large, we have completed until the third question. So you have 40 plus 30, approximately 70 marks, which is down in just first two questions, which you at least have a concept and a tentative structure. So start putting it in writing, create the Word document. And here it's mandatory to use 8 to 12 literatures. I would suggest go beyond that, because you make your work easy in the proposal, your dissertation gets much more simpler. So at least have 12 per se. So have 12 articles, good resources. Here, it should be of academic publications, most of your articles, meaning to say they should be of academic knowledge. You can't get a piece of article or a blog to say we can use it as references, but predominantly don't get it on that front, because which is why we say refereed articles have much more weightage. That is your journal articles. So search strategy and your literature review, gap analysis. So until here, please try to create a structure. And the next class is going to be on methodology. In fact, Sanders Research Union is what I'm going to explain in the next session. And technically, this is where your actual crux of the study comes into the picture, because introduction, lit review, the information is all around you available and you're just structuring it in one place. But methodology is what you are taking as an independent step for the research work as well. I think I have a few questions there. Let me get on the chat. Okay, Prakash is in the class. All right. Prakash, in fact, I chose your topic and I did some literature review. There are a good number of articles for your topic in Gulf. So it's a good pick there. And the theme, okay, get well soon. Thank you. Michael, and on this cover document is your exceed student number? No, that's a very good question. Please put your Plymouth ID, PMU ID on it, which is why even in my spreadsheet, I've asked you to give the PMU ID. So forget about your exceed ID. Please use your PMU ID because this ID is going to get reflected even in your transcript. Okay, so henceforth, it's just the PMU University ID. And we need to use the uni ID onwards, not exceed. That's correct, Noman. And Madhi, should we use the previous two? Okay, I think back to back, I have the same question. Please do not use exceed ID. Henceforth, it's Plymouth ID. And I would request you to please activate your login credentials because you have some perks of using their resources, and you can also try to view your results. From now on, no results will be depicted in Exceed. All your results need to be referred in the university login. In fact, your graduation invite, everything would be shared on that login credential for the Plymouth. So please do check, keep it active. And the more you keep it active is better for you. You receive the updates directly from the university and need not wait for us to keep you informed. So, Sama, can we choose a topic from the file of guides to choosing? Yeah, okay, it is still fine, I would say, as long as it suits your preference. And Prakash, yes, that was pretty good topic, which I just opted on a random basis, although, but I reframed it. The reframe topic is in the second tab. And Mahadi, okay, for the student one, that's clear. I have your opinion on my, all right, so Mariana, for most of your work, I may have to buy some time until Monday to rework because some of the work need a little bit of refinement. So I'm going to color code that sheet and I'm going to mention the color coding as well. Who's receives a green, it's good to go. So I'm going to give 3 colors there. And for certain members, I'm going to change the complete structure. So I'll be working on that on Monday. So soon after that, you can start structuring. In fact, the first 3 questions of your assignment brief, you can go ahead with it so that your proposal can be looked into. So Mariana, I'll be giving in your input there as well. Okay? Yeah, noted. Any other doubts? If not, we call it a wrap. Yes, the theme. All, in fact, all of you. I'll be going through all of your works. So no qualms. I just want to review everything once for all, and we'll be good to go. Okay. So all good. So Michael thumbs up as well. So perfect. Then great. I'm calling it a wrap. It's a weekend. I totally get that you must have your own schedules. So please take care. And I'll meet you next Thursday. Until then, start structuring at least your proposal a bit, and we'll get there eventually. So good night, everyone. Take care and a pleasant evening. See you all next Thursday. Bye.
Good night, everyone. Bye bye.